in the last game, we used the Adventure Crafter to learn that Mrs. Polymer in the Hollows, that Tick hasn't met, doesn't even know about her, was the one that commissioned Vike to go collect some wolves for her. And he was returning 3 of them to her when Tick and Grey Cat tried to ambush them and killed Vike and his fellow hunters, rescuing 3 or 4, I think it was, of the remaining pack. But we later learned, thanks to the Adventure Crafter, that Mrs. Polymer was actually, we know a little bit more about her. Tick doesn't, but we do, following Tick's adventure along, that Mrs. Polymer is actually developing some kind of dark power, trying to return some minions back to her, to a master. She's trying to please a master by raising his dead minions back to him or her. And we ended discovering that Mrs. Polymer had sent out trackers to try and find the hunting party. She was disappointed she didn't get her wolves back. The trackers came back empty-handed, so Mrs. Polymer had to take matters into her own hands. We don't know exactly how this played out, but somehow she finds the body of Vike and uses her new developing powers of bringing the dead back. We don't know how successful, but what we do know is that Mrs. Polymer got some information out of the dead body of Vike, that something she's been searching for, we think Tick, or something. The Vike mentioned this pale goblin running with wolves in the woods, and this was music to Mrs. Polymer's ears, and that's where we left things. So, looking at my notes, the Adventure Crafter resulted in a confrontation between Tick and a new character. So let's use Une to roll up this new character that's coming after Tick. So as before, we roll a D100 on this chart, and I've got 68. 68 is childish. So whatever's coming after Tick is childish. Interesting. So we roll a D100 again on the noun chart. Ooh. There's a 57. 57 is a traveller. Childish traveller. Okay. Childish traveller. So let's roll D100 again and see what power this NPC is using Une. So that is a 90. 93. Oh, so what kind of... We're on chaos level 4, so things are in disarray. So they're about standard at the moment. So, slightly stronger. So that seems appropriate. I think Mrs. Polymer wouldn't send some weakling, but a childish traveller who's slightly stronger than Tick. Okay, let's see what the motivation of this thing is and why would it be helping Mrs. Polymer. 45. 45 damage. Let's roll again. $37. damage secret societies. So a childish traveller doesn't necessarily mean they're a child, I suppose, does it? A childish traveller who is slightly more powerful than Tick, and their motivation is to damage secret societies. So I wonder if Mrs. Polymer, she's tricked someone, hasn't she? She's tricked this childish. I'm envisaging some kind of brute, some kind of giant childish brute who Mrs. Polymer has tricked. I think in the Hollows there's the village idiot actually, so let's say it's the village idiot, normally quite gentle, but huge guy for his size, for his stature, quite gentle normally, but totally ripped, and probably helps out around the Hollows, lifting heavy things, doing manual labour, maybe even pulling carts and things like that. But Mrs. Polymer has tricked him. Maybe she's taken him under her wing, trying to manipulate him for a time like this, where she's going to send him out. No one would ever suspect Mrs. Polymer being behind this, sending the village idiot. Even if he came back and told on Mrs. Polymer, she could deny everything. It's the village idiot. So she's got him worked up that there's some kind of secret, evil, demonic society out in the woods that's killed Vike. Vike was this guy's, this gentle giant's friend. And Mrs. Polymer's got him so worked up that he's being murdered by this demonic cult out in the woods. He's been sent off to go take revenge for Vike, his only friend in the village apart from Mrs. Polymer. And maybe Mrs. Polymer plays on that. I'm your only friend now. We need a name for this person. I think let's use the Mythic deck, see if it's is it a woman? It doesn't have to be a man. Is it a woman, I asked, and it says yes. Let's look at some names for this female we've discovered. What have we got? Fatima. I like that, Fatima. Oh, and there's another prompt for this story. Look, vice. Her virtue is chastity, but her vice is lust. So maybe she was lusting after Vike. So maybe Mrs. Polymer's been playing on this love that she had, this lust that she had for Vike. And up to this point she'd been saving herself for Vike in maybe the false hope that Vike would fall in love with her. Mrs. Polymer told her that he had. That's what's got her so worked up. That Vike was going to propose to her. Vike was going to propose to her. That's what Mrs. Polymer's told her. Your one love, the man you've been lusting after, the man that you are in love with. He was in love with you. He was going to propose. And look what's happened. This evil goblin, this evil cult. This evil cult in the forest. Now, does Mrs. Polymer want Tick alive? I think it's likely. I don't know. let's have a look. Let's see what the so we're on chaos factor 4 at the moment. So 50-50 because I don't know. Chaos factor 4 you go down 1, so it's unlikely. So 2 cards all have to be yes. Well, that one's a yes, but that one's a no. So Mrs. Polymer doesn't want Tick alive. Why does she want him dead then? That's the inevitable, logical next question. Let's draw 2 cards. Let's see what. Carry. Nature. Oh wow, I mean that fits perfectly. Tick is the complete opposite to Mrs. Polymer. Tick and Bakari Arjun and the wolves, they're the complete opposite to what Mrs. Polymer and her master that she's trying to please. They're about bringing the dead back and destroying nature, while Tick and Bakari Arjun carry nature. They're carrying it on, they're protecting it, carrying nature, protecting nature. She wants, there's something special about what perhaps Bakari and Tick can achieve, or what they are achieving in that forest, and it's maybe interfering with her plans. That's it. There's something going on in that forest. Is it Bakari? Is it Tick? But Mrs. Polymer wants an end putting to it. The power that Tick and Bakari in that forest has is interfering with her plans to bring back the minions of this master. That's it. Brilliant. Well, we've now got a name for this person. Fatima. Characters. Number 9. Fatima. Should we give her a surname? Fatima Lockwood. I like that. Fatima Lockwood. Fatima Lockwood. So I think we established last time that Tick and Grey Cat and the rest of the pack are oblivious, happy, living out their lives, hunting, perhaps mating. Tick continuing his lessons from Bakari Arjun. Life is continuing to go well. So the expected scene at the moment, I suppose, is Tick continuing his happy little life. We didn't cover hunting and finding food in the last session, so let's say that Tick, because I need to learn how to do this in Forbidden Lands, let's say Tick is out foraging and hunting for food. Does that go to plan? So we draw 1 card from the Mythic deck. So let's see. We are in Chaos Factor 4, so it goes as expected. So let's learn how to hunt. So Fatima Lockwood. So Fatima Lockwood hasn't found Tick yet. He's happily busy out hunting. So I'm going to learn how to do that now. So first of all, we must find our prey by making a survival roll. And because Tick has Master of the Hunt, he gets +1 on his survival roll when he's looking for prey, when he's on a journey. So let's make this interesting. Maybe Tick and Grey Cat have got a sense of confidence and they've strayed a little bit out of their domain. So they're on a journey, in the essence of the Forbidden Lands rules. So let's take a look at my map. So I think Bakari and Tick and the pack live in this section here. Over here is where they ambushed Vike. So let's say they've headed north today to try and track down. In fact, no. Let's roll for it. Let's see which direction they go in. Let's say this. What we've got 4 potential squares here. Let's roll a d8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's see which way Tick and Grey Cat go. Turned out my d8. Let's give it a roll. A 4. What did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4. So they've gone here. So on a 1, 2, it was here. 3, 4. So rolling a 4, they go here. So let's get my eraser. And they've discovered this new area. So first of all, to get there, we've got to do what's called lead the way. So that's to discover whether we can find a path to even get into that area. So me, Tick and Grey Cat have to roll to see if they can find a decent path to get them into that area first before we even do any hunting. So we've got to roll a survival check. So Tick has 2 in survival, which is in his wits, and he gets 3. So 2 skill dice, 3 attribute dice. So rolling 3 base dice, 2 skill dice. Gets us 1 success. So we successfully make our way into that new area. And we'll say it's dusk time. I'm sure Tick would prefer to hunt at dusk with his gobbling eyes being nocturnal and all that, so he's starting to get darker. So I get an extra red dice, which are skills dice. Get an extra skills dice because of Tick's skill of the hunt, I think it's called. So let's see if we can find any prey. And yes, we do. 1 success. So next we roll to see what we've found. We roll 1d6 to see what we found. 2 is a crow. Oh dear, we're not going to get much eating on a crow. So next I've got to roll on marksmanship with my bow to see if I can hit it. Oh, that reminds me, I need to fix my bow. Modify the roll with the difficulty of the animal. So the difficulty of a crow is 0, so at least we're not modifying it by anything. Tick has a marksmanship of 2 and his agility is 6. Oh wow. So 6 base dice, 2 skill dice. Six base dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2 skill dice. It's a difficulty of 0 to hit this crow, so let's see how we get on. Haha! So Tick pulls back his bow and arrow. Oh, but I need to factor in that it was broken. Have I just cheated? Oh, I haven't cheated, because at least I would have got some gear dice, surely. So a bow normally gets a bonus of 2, but it is damaged at the moment. Which, if I remember rightly, reduces its bonus by 1. So I should have rolled a black dice with that, so I wasn't cheating, I was doing myself out of an extra dice. Ugh. Where's it gone? 3. So it's still a success with that 6 there. So I've hit the crow. Tick pulls back his bow and he remembers, I need to fix this. And he spies at the crow. Mimicking the crow to maybe catch its attention. And the arrow flies true, plucks it out of the air. And maybe like a good wolf, good companion, grey cat, stalks over, grabs it gently, picks it up, well trained, doesn't devour it, returns it gently into the hands of Tick. And Tick rubs Grey Cat's head. Good Grey Cat, good Grey Cat. It's not going to fill as much today though. So a crow only provides 1 unit of meat, unfortunately. So Tick can eat this meat raw as long as he does it within a day. He can take it to an inn, it says, to cook, but he's not going to do that, so I'm guessing he's going to be eating it raw. So if I understand this correctly, we've spent a quarter day travelling to that area. We then spend another quarter day hunting, so we're in the night now. So I guess that Tick would want to get back to the safety of the glade where he lives with Bakari Arjun before it gets too bright. So let's say we hike back now. And because we're going back to a hex that we know, we don't need anyone to lead the way, so there's no survival roll there. So Tick and Grey Cat are returning to the glade. Perhaps Tick will lay down next to Bakari, maybe even Bakari. We haven't really thought about this, but where does Tick sleep? I like to imagine that Bakari opens up his little nest, his little womb, and that's where Tick sleeps, and the other wolves of the pack kind of sleep around the bottom of Bakari, some kind of protection from him. So that's the expected scene, that's where we're heading. So let's see what the Mythic GM Emulator thinks about that scene. So things went well on the hunt. They found a new area, didn't get into any trouble, managed to kill a crow. So I've reduced the chaos factor down to 3. Things are going well for Tick, everything seems fine. So next we need to see if the intended scene of him returning and having a snooze with Bakari goes to plan. So let's flip one card from the Oracle, see what the Oracle thinks about this. And so a closer inspection. Chaos factor 1/7, things go as expected. So he returns, starts perhaps butchering the crow, or maybe he just rips into it and starts to feed on the crow. He's got his gobbling sharp teeth. And maybe Bakari pipes up. Oh, I see. Not a squirrel today, eh, Tick? You have a crow, I think they are called. Yes, they loan me their eyes sometimes. Very far they go. I won't be loaning his eyes. Oh, Tick, yes. And Tick slurps one of the crow's eyes and looks up at Bakari. What were you saying? What were you saying, Bakari? About eyes? Cheeky smile on his face. You want me to save you one? Oh, no, Tick, no.
It's not the way I eat anymore. Through my roots, I get all the sustenance I need from this wonderful forest.
Tick. Never mind. One for me, another one for me. Oh, Tick. And then Tick remembers he must repair his bow. Maybe he tells it, Bakari, the little two fire is not working so good.
Tick, I think it needs repairing. Yes, you must fix it. Tighten.
Well, Tree can't show him.
You must tighten things. Tick, you know what that word means, Tick. The string. Tighten the string.
And Tick's going to give this a go, so we need to roll crafting. Tick's crafting is 0. Oh no, this isn't going to go well. Crafting of 0, strength of 4. Got a little visitor. This is my grey cat, also known as Frankie. Think I can ride you like a goblin one day, Frankie? No, better not. I'm going to eat this crow. Right, so Tick has, what did I say? Crafting of 0, strength of 4. So strength of 4. So we get 1 success. So he does manage to fix it, thank goodness. Don't know what he'd do without his bow. Now I understand if I'd have failed that, it would have permanently reduced it to 1. So that's good. So I imagine Tick spends the evening, well no, the rest of the morning snuggling up in Bakari while Bakari enjoys the sun and soaking up the rays, while the rest of the pack snooze under his leaves in the dappled light that comes through, and Tick snoring away in Bakari Arjun's womb. So I reckon that they probably do that and snooze around until dusk, really. Tick being a nocturnal creature. So I think we can reduce that down to 2, so everything's going hunky-dory at the moment. So there we go, I've reduced that down to 2. Now, I guess the plan, as they always do, would be to go hunting again. So is that going to go to plan? Yes, 1 to 2 expected. I suppose first we need to figure out what on earth Fatima's doing. She's nowhere to be seen. I would have expected her to have... although I guess this is a kind of a hidden glade, isn't it? Let's figure out what's Fatima doing. So the question is, has Tick, Bakari and the hidden glade remained hidden? So at chaos factor 2, I would say it's probably likely, well, probably even very likely, they've been hidden all this time. Maybe before I would have said has to be, but now that they've had to murder Vike and the other hunters nearby, I suppose that's a clue that perhaps somewhere close Tick and the wolves are living. So that makes me rethink it. Are they safe? likely. But at chaos factor 2 we have to reduce that down to unlikely. So 2 cards all have to be yes. Has the glade remain hidden? Yes. No. So if it's no longer hidden, is Fatima nearby? Well, is she the one that's found them? That's very likely. She's the one that's looking for them. Is it Fatima that's found them? Very likely reduces down to 50-50. 1 card, any yes. It's a yes. Fatima's found them. So now that she's found them, what is her plan? How is she gonna deal with this demon worshipping cult that she thinks she's found? I'm gonna flip 2 cards and see what we come up with. Delay hope. Delay hope. Delay hope makes me think that the plan is to stop Tick and the wolves and Bakari getting help somehow. And it's horrible, but fire springs to mind. You know, this is, how do you deal with a cult in a forest? Fire, delay, hope. She's setting a ring of fire around them while they snooze. She's starting a fire to surround them, delay any hope of getting any help or getting out. Does Tick smell or see or hear the fire coming? There maybe the distress of animals within the forest, the smell of smoke, the crackling of burning wood. Does he sense this? Actually, looking at Grey Cat, she's got better scouting than Tick. Perhaps it's her that picks this up first. Let's see how she does with her roll. She has 5 scouting. Yes, Grey Cat smells it. Starts to nudge. Just like you're doing, she starts to lick and nudge Tick to wake him up. Wake up, Tick. Well, she can't say that, can she? What would she do, Frankie? What would she do? She whimper like you're doing. Whimper. Start nudging him with her nose to wake him up. So Grey Cat wakes up Tick and the other wolves. She's howling. And we'll wait until next session to see what state the forest is in. What has Fatima done to the forest?